Do you want to start a jewelry business, but the first question you have is, how do I even get customers to buy my jewelry? This is a complete guide on social media marketing for jewelry brands, goldsmith shops, stone setter shops. If you're selling jewelry, this will help. And this will help you get your first couple of customers. And if you already have a jewelry brand that has customers, this system will help you scale, which means you'll just get more customers if you just use this. The first part of marketing is creating an offer. Now, this sounds boring and this sounds generic, but let me explain. The only reason we have an offer is not because our jewelry is completely different from any other jewelry. I'm sure it is. But what the reason we make offers, we build offers, we write offers is so that we can make compelling copy for advertising, right? So this is exclusively to just write offers. It's not really to build a completely new product, completely new customer journey. None of that. It's just to write compelling copy for your advertisement. Now, I have a couple of formulas that we have used consistently. So one formula is duration, so time, plus dream outcome, plus container word. I didn't invent this formula. This formula, I learned it from another marketer, very, very good marketer. And we had just used this in all our advertisement and it has worked pretty well. So let me give you an example of what this looks like. So time duration is like 40-minute dream wedding ring. So 40-minute is the time, dream wedding ring is the dream outcome, plus container word consultation. So we have here the three elements of this formula. So 40-minute is the time duration, dream wedding ring is the dream outcome. You want a dream wedding ring, and then consultation container word, right? So we have the three elements. Again, we can do this again and again. It's just that whatever your offer is, whatever the dream outcome for the customer actually buying your stuff, your products, your jewelry items, that is what we want to put here. All right. That's the only thing we want to put here. And here we want it to sound as fast as possible. So the objective of the first part of the headline is to sound as fast as possible, instant, right? Like they will get this stuff very, very fast, right? Then the dream wedding, they will get exactly what they want very, very fast. And then here is just to give them context, right? So this is basically the formula that we have used the majority of time. Now, obviously, you can go crazy with the headlines. Um, you can even say the 70% off, right? You can even put that, right? As a only until Friday, right? And then you can, I mean, in the sub headline, you can even put the dot, dot, dot. Like you can even do this, right? Dot, dot, dot. So let me even explain to you where this will go and why this is important. So if I click here on, for example, the ads, Facebook ads, right? Again, don't worry. You'll I'll show you exactly how to do this. You see here underneath, you see Cartier.com. Yeah, that's their headline. Normally, jewelry brands actually don't have great headlines. So what we do is we go to ad library on Google, we click on ad library, and we are able to spy on other people's ads. Right. The only reason this is useful is not really to check other jewelry brands ads. It's more to see what other industries are doing on their ads that we can copy, right? That we can use to in our industry, in our industry, which is jewelry, right? Selling jewelry, either made by hand or just selling bought and sell jewelry, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to ad library and we are gonna click on we what I usually do is click on high level internet marketers, right? They are very good at marketing. So I see what they are doing and then I can use what they are doing, but in our niche, which is jewelry, right? Luxury high end jewelry. So one of the very good, I would say, ads runner is a company called King Kong in Australia. They are a marketing agency basically, and they run really, really good ads. So these are more um, direct response marketing. All right. It's not brand marketing, it's direct response marketing. It's getting customers, right? So What they have been doing recently is actually testing no headline, right? Like these have no headline, but they are just doing that so that this seems like more organic content instead of paid advertisement, right? Because Because if you go to, for example, Facebook and you see here you have an organic post, right? This organic post has no headline, right? Zero headline. But if you go here to a sponsored one, you have a headline, right? So the marketers normally give away that they are advertising, which is not the point. You really want to seem as much organic as possible, right? Because normally people, when they see an ad, they just like scroll away, right? But when it's an organic post, they have a higher tendency to just stay, especially on Facebook, especially on Instagram, right? So we have that sort of advantage when we have our ads looking like organic, right? So that is basically why these sort of marketers are now testing without headlines, which is an interesting way of running Facebook ads, which is because conventionally, Facebook ads you run with headlines 100% all the time, right? But some marketers are trying without it, and it's an interesting test. I wouldn't do it right now because still in the testing phase, right? But that's one thing that they're doing, which is kind of one of the benefits of seeing what other industries are doing. Because, for example, if we just take what our industry is doing, we will have a very narrow understanding of how we can advertise in how many different ways, how creative we can get. On the other hand, if we look at all the other industries or many other industries, we can really see some creative stuff going on. Right? So, just to clarify, this is the headline. Copy and paste this to rank number one on Google, right? So that's a headline, right? This is a sub headline. Read carefully if you're serious about ranking number one on Google, right? And then another headline: This tickles Zuck's pixel. Weird one, but all right. They're playing with words there. And again, they are just testing headlines here, like Facebook ad cheat codes, free download, right? Again, that's what this is about. This is the headline, right? You have a bunch of sub headlines as well. Like you can go 5 stars. You can put in, like, for example, you can have this in your headline, have this as well in your headline, pointing to the CTA, which is call to action. So let's find the CTA. All right. So this learn more, that's the CTA. That's calling to action, the call to action. You're just telling the strangers on Facebook that are seeing your jewelry advertisement what to do next. Because otherwise they will just see it and go, oh, nice. And then they'll just scroll away. But if you tell them what to do next, they will know what to do next. They will click the button, they will click the link, and then you will get their contact info so that you can turn them into a customer, which is, again, the whole point of social media marketing. All right. So that's an offer. After we have figured out the offer, which is the first base that you need to actually know what you're even advertising, is posting organic content. Now, I didn't used to talk about this, and we didn't do this, but um, since we have been starting to do this with jewelry brands, our ads have performed better. Now, let me explain why. If you have organic posts content that works means have shares, have saves, and have conversions if they have conversions, or either or, then you can grab that same thing, that same post, just run it as an ad, run it as a Facebook ad, right? So you really want to be testing your hooks and your whether they are verbal hooks, written hooks, and most important, visual hooks on organic content. So I'll just show you exactly how. The reason why we do organic content is that we can use them as Facebook ads later on to get customers, right? Because it's just free testing. You're just able to test for free. All right. Now there are a couple of accounts that we can just look at that have massive jewelry followings or massive relative that are jewelry brands, face-led jewelry brands. So, for example, this is one. right? And again, there are millions of them, or well, I would say thousands of them, multiple thousands of them that we can just look at and see what are the sort of things that they are doing. So obviously they are posting a bunch of just jewelry, 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 right? But let's look at their metrics. So look at the amount of posts that they have, right? I mean, it's an enormous amount of posts. 12,234. It's an enormous amount of posts. Think think about your jewelry shop. How many posts have you made the last month? I bet it's nowhere near to 12,000, right? So that's kind of lesson number one is just volume, right? And then we go to the next one. And again, we can look at many and many of those. Like this has 3,000 posts. Like these are a lot of posts, right? And then another one, 4,000 posts. Another one, 4,000 posts again, right? 4,000 plus posts, right? Normally, what jewelry brands have is just this part, the 200, but kind of need a lot of posts, right? You need to do a lot of volume. And by the way, it's good to understand that a lot of these accounts have cleanups. So they post a lot, and then the ones that work well, those are the ones they keep. And then the ones that don't do that well, they delete. So we are not even seeing the full picture. And this is an enormous amount of volume. So let's just say like 30% of the posts, they are all, they deleted all of them. All right. I'm not saying these ones did, but an enormous amount of jewelry brands have audit cleanups. A fancy word for they just delete the shitty posts. All right. So those are the sort of things that we are looking for in organic posts. So metrics to look out on when you grab your cell phone and you start taking photos of your jewelry and you start making reels for your jewelry. Things to look out for is data points. So data points just means um, have people saved these posts? Have people shared these posts? And have people converted from strangers into customers from these posts? Now, the reason we do this is that saved post is basically just in a sales objection. It's like, I want this, but not right now. The shared post is, I know someone who would want this, which is basically a referral. And converted is obviously money, right? That you converted a complete stranger into a customer, which is fantastic. And you shouldn't be expecting that for a long time if it is not obviously family and friends or friends of family or family of friends, right? So those are the data points that we are looking out for. Now, how much should we do? How much should we post? This is what we do. All right. We post 30 a week, 30 posts at least the first week. Now we do this because we found that obviously we can post way more. We can post 30 a day. Like that's not a problem. It's just that not for us ourselves, but for jewelry reps, right? Is that we will be able to pretty well figure out which is a good visual hook, and we will be able to basically test out how many ads we will be able to test, right? Because for example, we'll have to grab these posts and zillion them out, make many of the same thing. I'll show you how. All right. So that's the second point. First point, create an offer. Second point, post a bunch of organic content just to test hooks. Now, let's for you guys to understand what a visual hook is for jewelry, it's very, very simple. All right. So yeah. So this is a visual hook, right? So this is a visual hook. You're just grabbing your jewelry, showing it, zooming out, zooming in. That's it. That's a visual hook. All right. So thank God in this industry, the high-end jewelry brand industries, very, very easy to make visual hooks. You just have to take a photo of your jewelry, right? Basically, right? And you can have obviously these sort of captions on them, these sort of captions on them, and they work great. Right? These sort of captions plus a visual hook, they work great. You get an enormous amount of traffic by posting these sort of ads. All right. Now, so that's kind of basically what you want to be creating. You can also create just photos. So, for example, if we go to a company like Cartier, which is a huge jewelry brand, They post a bunch of carousels that are just photos, right? Now you might say, oh, this is high production photos. High production photos work way less on social media than low production photos. That's what we have seen constant. Like, I don't remember of a time where a high end, really, really great photo, just high production photo has beat just a cell phone, a hand, and this is my jewelry. I've never seen that. I have never seen that. I'm sure it happens. I just never seen that. I've been running Facebook ads for 2.5 years. All right. So you can also post photos, just photos, right? And that's the beautiful that's basically the thing that you have to test for those 30 posts, right? That's it. That's all you have to test. Test that for 1 week, then you will see which one has this, right? And by the way, if you don't have any of these, that's fine. Just post way more. And you will say, ah, but I have to post something better or something different. Like, no, just look at this. It's just 12,000 posts. And you may say, oh, these are great posts. It's like, this is a great post. It's just a photo of a jewelry. This is just a photo of a jewelry, right? And you will say, oh, the lightning, the perfect hand, and the beautiful, like, you don't really need those. You just need something like this. I mean, if you have one of those, great. Like, knock yourself out. But you need one of these. And those are fine. Those you can grab your cell phone, grab your jewelry, make a reel, right? So just if you don't have any of these while posting 30 posts, weird, but just post way more. Post 100 next week. Post 200 next week, right? And you may say, oh my God, 200, 100, it takes around 4 hours a day. All right. So it's not. It sounds more than it is. The third step is Facebook ads, actually running the ad, putting money behind the thing that already works on organic to be able to get customers to buy your stuff. This is the point, right? This is what we are looking for when we are doing social media marketing is having all the tests so that we can run ads on it. All right. Now, let me just show you why we run ads on it. Every successful jewelry brand runs Facebook ads. Really, really successful jewelry brands. Let's look at the biggest. All right. Cartier is the number one biggest. All right. They have just the ones that are active. They have 1,300 Facebook ads. 1,300. All right. Now, if we just click on the X on the active ones and so we see how many ads do they have in their ads manager total, they have 4,300 Facebook ads or Instagram ads, Facebook ads, right? Meta ads. That's an insane volume, right? Let's look at another one. All right. Van Cleef, 400 active ads. Now let's click again on the ones that we'll see how many ads do they actually have in their ads manager, right? 4,100 ads. So these are the biggest jewelry brands that already have a huge social media following, that already have massive word of mouth, that are already brand established, that already have celebrities that are brand ambassadors, right? And they are still advertising on Facebook. Not only they are advertising on Facebook, they are massively advertising on Facebook. Why? Because this is the stuff that get you customers. This is the stuff that makes a stranger go all the bridge towards becoming a paid customer. This is it. So this is what we're testing. All right. Now, how do we do this? Well, we grab our best performing posts and we turn them as ads. This is the process. We grab the best performing ones. Let's say that's 1 out of 30. Let's just say 1 out of 30. And then what we want to do is film or take as many photos, right, of very similar ads, right? We want to grab the same ad. Just for example, if the jewelry piece is here, well, make the jewelry piece here. But the jewelry piece is there, then make the jewelry piece there. All right. If the background is orange, the next will be green. The next will be blue. The next will be etc. 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 So from one, this is called ad maxing. From one post, you can generate 3,000 ads. That's what we are doing. And again, this is not going to be all the ads that we are running, but this is the basis. This is the base of what we are doing to be able to get customers to sell jewelry. All right. That's what we're doing. Now, what we want to do is run them. So we run all of them, right? And then what do we do after that? We see which one works best, right? Which is grabbing again the ads that work best. Now it's not only the social media posts that work best, now it's also the ads that work best and zillion them out. Make like let's say we have 40 ads, 40 posts, right? We make five out of each one of them, right? Out of each winning one. We don't want to make replicates of the shitty ones, right? So for example, let's say one ad, let's say this one, got 50 leads and the cost per lead, each lead was $5, which is cheap. And a CTR or click through rate, the amount of people that saw your ad, the percentage of those who clicked, right? That's a very important stat because we want people to click, right? CTR of let's say a 3%, which is a good CTR. It's pretty good. I mean, it's not great, but it's pretty good. It's decent, right? All right. And then we got the second ad, let's say, that got 16 leads of a cost per lead of $26 and a CTR of, let's say, 0.8%. This one, we don't want to duplicate this one. We don't want to make many ads of this one. That's why we test so that we can see which one is this one, the shitty ad, and which one is this one, the killer ad. All right. We want to duplicate this. Now, how do we actually do that? Well, on photos, on reels, there's a different method, but on photos, let's say we run carousel ads, so the ads that have many photos in one ad, or we just run image ads. Well, we can do this. So figure this, right? This is one photo, right? Very, very simple photo. We have one photo of one piece of jewelry on a white background. You can do this white background with AI. You could just say, delete the background, put in a white background, and then you'll have that. All right. And then what we're going to do is make the exact same photo, not even take the exact same photo, just duplicate it on a software called Canva, which is a Photoshop software, super easy to use. It's just to click around, right? And you will change the background of each of them to many different colors, right? Black, red, blue, green, yellow, golden, right? So first we're going to do that. Second, we're going to start testing headlines. You remember the first thing we did with offers, right? We're going to start testing the headlines inside the ad creative, which is the photos, the carousels, the reels. That's what we're going to do. So not only we have 50 of the same ad without any headlines, 50 different ads of the same ad, right? Just different backgrounds that kind of look different. Like, for example, you look at this photo, it looks very different from this photo, right? You wouldn't even notice it's the same one, right? So um, that's first what we want to do. Second, we test headlines. In all of them, we are going to have like 300 ads, all right, from one photo. So we just need to test that one thing, get the winner of that one thing, and then we'll just zillion them out. All right. And that is the process, the entire process of how jewelry brands can scale and get way more customers. This is the way, right? So you test on organic a bunch. You test a bunch of on organic, and then you run them at Facebook ads. Now, do all successful jewelry brand owners do this? Well, some of the face-led jewelry brand owners don't. Some. Most of them do. Some don't. All right. That doesn't mean most jewelry brands don't run Facebook ads. Most jewelry brands don't, but most jewelry brands are not the successful ones. I would say around 20 to 15% are the successful ones. Those ones that earn $100,000 plus a month to $10 million plus a month and take home. Those are the successful ones. I would say they are less than 15%. So you don't really want to look at what all the other what do most jewelry brand owners do. We don't really want to do what most jewelry brand owners do because most jewelry brand owners have a second job to be able to maintain their business. Those are the most. We don't want to be copying the most. We want to be looking at the best. What do the best do? And then slowly being able to make that machine. Now, if you notice that there are a couple elements to this entire process. One is volume. All right. So volume this just means the amount of posts, in this case, the amount of posts that you're able to make and the amount of ads that you're able to run. That's it. End of story. Volume. That's concept number one. Concept number two is concentration. You need to focus. So, good thing to have in mind is that most jewelry brands, which are not successful jewelry brands, um, they think that they have to have novelty in their advertisement, one, novelty in their products, two, novelty in their services, cleaning services, maintaining services, events, this, that, right? But what do the big jewelry brands do? They focus on advertising. That's it. That's what they focus on. And you may think that one needs differentiation. That's at least what most jewelry brand owners do because there's an enormous amount of competition. Not only there are huge amounts of e-commerce stores that are just killing it, there are an enormous amount of brick and mortar shops in the same city centers that are competing. So it's an enormous amount of competition. But most brand owners think that how to beat the competition is by differentiation when it's not. It's just amount of marketing. And that's what most jewelry brand owners don't understand. And only the successful 15% or maybe even less than 15% of jewelry brand owners understand. It just comes down to marketing, right? Let me show you why. So if, for example, we go to Facebook, we are on Facebook, we are on feed. Again, billions, not millions, billions of people are on this platform every single day, 16, 24 hours a day. All right. This is where the people are. People are also on Instagram and on TikTok, but here's where you will get sales. On Instagram is where you'll get sales. Meta, Facebook, right? The Zuckerberg platforms, right? What you want to be doing to be able to win against all competition, which you shouldn't really even give a shit about. Because if your competition has 5 customers and you have 20, who cares that they even exist? All right. So this is what we want to do to beat everyone and be the number one dominant jewelry brand on the planet. Right. Here, there are stories. You can run ads on these stories. So your ad could be this ad, right? Just boom, an ad of yours, right? You then have the sidebar here, right? Here, sidebar. And you have 2 ads here. One of them can be yours, another your ad. And then here you have one organic post. And right after the first organic post that Facebook shows you, it shows you an ad, right? So let's scroll down. Look at this. Sponsored. Tony Jeffries is a boxing guy, right? But this is an ad. So this is an ad that could be yours. So just in the first second of someone entering Facebook, they can see 1 ad of yours, 2 ads of yours, 3 ads of yours. And then you know what happens when they keep scrolling? One organic post, another organic post, and ad. This could also be yours. Organic post, ad. Organic post, ad. Right? Every 2 organic posts after the first is an ad. Right? So these are the sort of things that we want to be doing. Right? This is peak social media marketing. So if you want to actually learn how to get customers, how to scale advertisements so that you can get more customers, click the link in the description of this video and I will show you click by click how to place an ad, how to create ads, how to just write them, how to write the copy, how to write the hook, how to write the creatives, how to make the creatives, how to structure the whole process from click to close. Click the link in the description and I'll show you click by click exactly how to do that.